Welcome back, everyone. This is GoFlow, episode 4, our weekly devotion where we ask the Holy Spirit to flow into us so that we will be stronger and richer disciples for Jesus in this world. It's good to be back together again. I've got the camera teetering on a sawed-off branch of a tree right at the shores of Lake Marion here in Lakeville, Minnesota. The water has reminded me of a great story. Some years ago, one of my confirmation students decided to be kind of cute, as a lot of confirmation students try to do, and when a lot of his friends were picking the end of verse 1 of chapter 43 of the prophet Isaiah as their confirmation verse, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." He decided to go to the next verse, verse 2. "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers they shall not overwhelm you." And then this key verse for him, "When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you." He sat down, and many of his friends chuckled, but he didn't really know how profound that verse really is. Think of the promise. No water will ever consume you. No fire, the fire of life, will ever burn you. Well, that's just as much the promise of baptism as is the verse before that. "I've called you by name and you are mine. I'm your Redeemer." And so here I am standing at the edge of the lake. The waves are lapping up behind me. And this water reminds me of something great and promising, not something scary and fearful. How often does something so mundane, like the water on a lake or a river, remind you of the promises of God? Promises that you will not be consumed by the things of life, the tidal waves of life that overwhelm us so often, or the flames, the heat, the pressure, the stress that gets to us so often. It won't get you because you're God's. You're His child. The promise was made a long time ago in your baptism, and now it's yours. It stays with you. It's in your heart. I just want you to stop there today. What does that promise do to you? What is living in this beautiful world, in spite of all of its challenges, knowing that God is the God of the universe and of this life, the Lord of life? What does that do to you? If it doesn't melt your heart, does it at least carry you? Does it surround you with hope? Does it fill you with promise and a sense of security and a joy? I want you to think about that today, and if nothing else, I want you to just stop and give thanks for your faith and take in how good God is above everything else, above all of our doubts and worries. Even when we're hanging by a thread of faith, the promise comes again. "I will not let the waters consume you. I will not let the flames burn you. I have called you by name. You are mine, and I am your Redeemer." Let that settle in your hearts and your minds today, and let yourself feel the love of God that will never let you go. Good to be with you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Come back again for GoFlow.